Hey there, I'm James. Welcome to Game Stories, where we write games that tell stories. And in this episode, we are talking again about how to make games in ARIS. And in this episode, we are going to focus on a couple of new, what do they call them? Game assets, I think. Let's take a look. Game objects is what we're going to do. In the last episode, we did plaques, and we uploaded some media, and we made some plaques. We put them in our scene, put them in locations in the world, and then I walked out there and clicked on them and showed you that it actually works in the real world. This time we are going to work on conversations and this one here, player attributes / items. I'll show you how those work and how we can kind of use them to make a more complicated game. So let's start by creating a conversation. And we're going to call this Talk to the Elephant. Yes, please. And for the icon, I will use this picture here. And we will just save it. I'm also going to create an item, a player attribute item. And you can see in my media folder, I've uploaded a picture of some peanuts. So we're going to make that an item. If I go back to scenes and then plus next to player attributes, I can say, call it peanuts, and the description will be, no, let's actually spell it, nuts. Ooh, look, you have some peanuts. Now there's a bunch of things you can tweak here, the weight and the maximum quantity that the player can carry, whether it's droppable, whether you can destroy it. I'm not going to mess with any of these features right now. If you want, you can play around with them. The type, we're not going to mess with any of that right now. We just want to do the basics. No tags, just a picture so people can see what it is. And an internal media, so if they click on it, they can still see the picture of peanuts. It won't go away. So all I did here was I called it peanuts. I gave it a little description so when you look at it in your inventory, you'll see it. And then I added the picture twice, so the outside picture and the inside picture basically are the same. And now I'm saving it. Okay, so just like that, I've created a conversation and an attribute. And you'll notice I got this bug again. I duplicated the conversation. So let's take a look here. That one has the media, so that's fine. I'm not gonna mess with that. And the other one does not have the media, so we're deleting it. You may have to do that several times. With different things. So let's start by adding the conversation to the scene, and later we'll make use of our peanuts. We're going to add a trigger to the scene, in this case a conversation, and there it is. There's our conversation, talk to elephant. Now you can do with this conversation all the things that you could do with the plaques. If you click on here, you can set it in a particular place. Notice it goes to the same default location. I'm going to drag it deeper into the zoo over here. We're not messing with those yet. By touch is what I want. I can make it bounce up and down on the map or not. I don't particularly care about that. And notice that if I declick this, I can do the same range functions that I did with the plaques before. I can make it, you have to get closer or further away depending on where I drag this. So it's the same as the plaques. All the game objects, when you put them in the world like this, are going to behave that same way. But for the purposes of this demo, I've already shown you how that works. We're just going to do it from home this time. And I have to save. So now I have a conversation in my game, but it's not really doing anything. It just exists there. And if people go and click on it, it's not really going to function. I need to go to my conversation editor, which is this tab up here. Click on Talk to Elephant and get the editor. Now, I've already played around with this a little bit, so you can see that some of the work that I've already done and even some of the errors that I've made are already showing up. Before you get working on the conversation, you need to add your characters. There's always going to be, when this first loads, it will just say you, and you here means the player. The player character is you. And then you can add characters by naming them and putting a picture. In this case, I've already added one called Elephant. You can see I used the same picture and just said The name in the editor and the name of the game should be the same. I don't want to confuse myself. Now, it duplicated itself. There's no real good way to delete a character, unfortunately. So if the game runs into that, or if ARIS runs into this error where it's duplicating things, you'll just have to do what I did. Notice I can't click on this one anymore. I just went to the screen and I erased the name and I erased the second name and I saved it. So it now is just sort of this blank once was a character slot. I don't know if that's going to cause further bugs or not, honestly, but I prefer it to having a blank character there that I might accidentally use and I can't delete. So this is my best solution. I don't know if it's functional. Okay, so we're going to have this conversation between you, the player character, and an elephant. So let's start that conversation by clicking Start the Conversation. And you'll notice that we hit a little editor here loads. I'm going to click on these boxes, and then I'll have the opportunity to edit them in this space over here. So if I click Hello, I can edit who's saying this line. If it's left as you, then that's going to be the player character saying hello. If you turn it to elephant, then it'll be the elephant saying hello. So let's start with that. The elephant says hi, and we'll make them say, hi there, friendly elephant. And we will save. And you notice it loaded a little picture. And now I can either, we're not going to do this yet, which is add a choice, a branching choice. Let's just do this one, which is add more dialogue. So if I click down, there's going to be a hi there and a continue button. And when I click continue, it's going to go to this one. And this line is going to be you, the player character, saying, hi, elephant. Nice to meet you. And we'll save that. Now notice it didn't put a picture here when it did put a picture there. That's because in the you character, I didn't upload any media. The way I think this works is if you upload a picture here, that will be the player character's picture in the game. If you don't upload a picture here, ARIS will use the player's own avatar that they put into the system as the picture that generates on the dialogue. I've done that, and so we'll see if it works in a second. Take a goofy picture of myself. All right, so we have a line where the elephant says hi. We click continue. We say hi, nice to meet you. The elephant says, yes, indeed. Good day. And we'll save that, and then the last thing we'll be able to click is this button that says bye-bye, and you'll notice that the action is end conversation, which is exactly what we want it to do. Notice these buttons, we could edit them as well, but we haven't. They just do action say line, and it leads you to the next line. So I haven't messed with those, and I'm not messing with that, right? Save everything, and let's try it out. Okay, I have opened my phone and uploaded or opened ARIS and found my game, and I opened it. You notice that the elephants that we placed there in the last video are still there bouncing around. And then we have our talk to elephant dialogue right there. So because it's available anywhere, I can just click right now on it. And it tells me I can view, so I'll view. We get a picture of the elephant, and he says, hi there. And we can continue. There's my little avatar picture. It says, hi elephant, nice to meet you. Continue again. Yes, indeed, good day, bye-bye. And it dumps me back out onto the map. Okay? So that is how a basic dialogue works. It's just like that. Let's go back over here for a second. Boop, boop. Okay, so if we, what if we want to make this more complicated? What if we want to make it have choices? Or before we do that, before we get into choices, which is the next level of complexity, let's say the elephant is going to give us some peanuts. Yes, indeed. Here, have some peanuts. Good day. I'm spelling that wrong every time. There we go. Now, he says that he gives us peanuts, but he won't actually do it yet unless I tell the computer, give player peanuts. So I'm going to click on that line again and see this little button here that says Edit Events. We're going to click on that. We're going to name the event Gain Peanuts, and I'm going to add a row to this event. When I add a row, I can do things. I can make the computer do things to the player. I can give the player stuff. I can take away things from the player. I can set an amount of an item to a particular number. So if they had more than 10, I could set it to 10. If they had less than 10, it would still set it to 10. I would ignore for now all these things about world and group and other. That's a level of complexity we're not going to deal with. So just focus here, what we can do to the player. Right now we're going to give the player 1 copy of peanuts. All right, and we are just going to save it just like that. So let's run that dialog again and see how it plays. So the question is going to be well, let's just see if it updated or not. Take my arrow off there. Clicking on the elephant again. Hi there. Yep. No. All right, so I need to, in order to see this update, some things update in real time, some things are a little slower. I'm going to need to leave the game, open it again, reset, and then click New Game. Talk to the elephant. View. Hi there. Nice to meet you. See their little banner up top said +1 peanuts, 1 total. Have some peanuts, good day. Bye bye. It dumps me back out, and when I click on this little menu icon at the top and then click on inventory, you can see, ooh, look, you have some peanuts ×1. Now if I go back to the map and talk to this guy again, he will give me peanuts forever. Now I have 2, right? So I can talk to him as many times as I want and get as many peanuts as I want. Maybe we'll talk at some other point about how to limit that. But for right now, all that really matters is we got an item and the elephant gave it to us. Okay. One last thing here, I think, for this video. And that is, what if we want to have choices instead of just a linear dialogue options here? So let's do that. When he says hi there, we'll say hi, nice to meet you. Yeah. Let's say we'll give us a choice right here of how to respond to that. I'm going to click on this little branching arrow here. It gave me another branch. If I want 3 choices, I can do that. Just keep clicking. It'll give me as many choices as I want. But if I don't want that many choices, I can click here and delete a branch. Going to permanently delete all the lines that follow it. Are you sure about that? Yes. Delete the things that are following. Take me back to 2. Now, what will happen if I just leave this the way it is now is the elephant will say hi. The player will get 2 choices, both named continue, that will lead to separate branches, and we don't want that. I'm going to edit these so that they give some idea of what happens next. So instead of prompt, it's going to say hello. And then we'll say, hi, nice to meet you. Or we could say, let's see, what do you know about elephants? Oh, that might have been too big. What do you know? What do you know? Let's just say that. Then we'll have a line from you that says, can you give me any information about elephants? We'll save that, and then let's see, what will he say in response to that? Continue, and he'll say, I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. He's playing coy. And we'll save that, and then that'll be it. Exit, but we'll say, instead of exit, we'll say, okay, see you around. And that'll be that. Now we have a branching dialogue, and if I go into the game, which I will in just a second, it should give me choices that are coherent, give the player some idea of which way things are branching. And if I go down this route, I'll get a peanut, and if I go down this route, I will not. So I'll upload it one more time real quick, and I will do the off screen, I'll do the closing it out and rebooting the game, and then scrolling over to the zoo. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back over here at the zoo, and we're going to talk to this elephant again. And he says, hi there. Now we have these choices. Hello, or what do you know? Since we've already seen the hello branch, we'll say, what do you know? Can you give me any information about elephants? He says, I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Okay, see you around. And there you have it. Let me just do one last thing, because something's bugging me about that now. That, I don't know if you noticed, but I did, that the line here, what do you know, is a lot vaguer than the question. It's a lot more broad than the question that follows. So instead of saying, what do you know, I'm just going to say, elephants? I think that's a little better. I think that makes it clear that I'm going to ask questions about elephants. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because it's just an example game. But that's the kind of thing that you should be thinking about when you're making these choices for players is, can they read the question and understand what follows next, right? Okay, I think that's it for this video. Today we just looked at creating two kinds of game object. We created a conversation and we created a player attribute / item. I then notice I didn't have to add the item to the scene. I just had it be something that the elephant would give you in dialogue. So I added the dialogue to the scene. I placed it in a location with this same map. I then went to the conversation editor and used it to create first a linear dialogue that handed out an item, and then a branching dialogue with choices for the player. And that's it. That's how to put items and conversations in your game. So I think you can see that with this, you can add a little bit more interactivity to the different locations that you have players go to. Okay, that's it for this time. Thanks for coming. Next time, I'll show you something about locks and quests in ARIS. Take care.